Keeping a close eye on my shrimp, you'll see it started to turn pink, so I'm going to just flip it over very quickly. I'm not trying to fully cook them, I'm just trying to give them a little bit of color so that they're not raw and the marinade get a chance to get in touch with the heat. Now the reason I keep the tail on in these shrimps when I devein them is that if you didn't keep the tail on, they would curl into really tiny pieces and then you wouldn't really even see them in your dish. They tend to curl up really fast. So try to keep the tail on. That's the best way to get more mileage out of your shrimp, and it also looks highly presentable compared to the tail off. Just leave that last digit on and leave the tail on, but make sure to devein it all the way. If you're looking for a quick appetizer, these shrimps done just this way and sprinkled with some toasted sesame seeds and scallions are a great appetizer with a great dipping sauce like a sweet Thai chili sauce or something. So it's just a very simple marinade. Soy sauce, ginger, garlic, and salt was all I added, and a little sesame oil. So it makes a great appetizer just the way it is, or you can coat them in a batter of tempura and then deep fry them and then serve it with a dipping sauce. There's many ways to do it, but we're going to now remove them from the heat and then we'll work on our sauce. I lifted all the shrimp off of the pan and you'll see it left a nice color on the sides of my pan. So what I'm going to do is, I promise I will use every bit of liquid that I have to deglaze it, so all of this goodness of the charred shrimp is going to go into my sauce. I added some regular oil and I'm going to start working on my sauce. I will add my aromatics first, so my ginger. From all the garlic that I had, I will just save a little bit off to add as a topping later on in my sauce. So I'll take the most of it and add it right here to the hot oil. We will saute this for a minute. Keep the heat to medium, otherwise it's going to start burning and that's not what we want. So just saute this for just a few seconds so it's not raw. And here comes somebody to sneak and steal a piece of shrimp from my fried shrimp. Whoop, and she's gone. I know it smells really good in here, but you know what? If you keep eating the shrimp, I won't have anything to cook with. Wah, wah. Alright, so the ginger and the garlic smell really good right now. To this, I'm going to add the onions that I'd coarsely chopped right in there. Just like that. Now the idea is not to make the onions soft, not to make them translucent, just to have them lose their crunch a little bit and to aromatize, if that's a word, aromatize my oil. Okay, so that's why we're just going to move these around for a little bit, and then we're going to move on to our one tomato that we pureed in the blender. We're going to add that once the onions are a little bit softened. Okay, so as soon as I add the tomatoes, you'll see that it immediately starts to deglaze the pan from all the pan drippings that the shrimp had left behind. So it's actually flavoring your sauce. And also the heat is melding the tomato juice from the pureed tomato and the shrimp, garlic, onions, ginger. It's all coming together beautifully. Okay, so I sauteed the shrimp and the vegetables together. It's still pretty dry. When you were not watching, there was a sneaky hand that came and snuck another piece of shrimp, so I'm very upset about that because this quantity keeps decreasing. Okay, at this point, I'm going to go back and add my mixture that I had prepped for my sauce. If you remember, it had cornstarch, it had water, it had soy sauce, salt, sugar, and the Thai sweet chili sauce. So since I'm serving this with rice, I feel like it's a little too dry. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little more water, and then I'm going to let it reduce down, and then I'll check for seasonings. This is a great consistency of the sauce. It's really nice and thick. It looks rich without being oily, and that's what we're really after. Now is a good time to add the remaining garlic that I had held on to.